expected its latest foreign trip, how much it cost the taxpayer. Also, residents of the border town of Paga in the Upper East region want government to intensify security in that area following a police wireless message warning of possible attacks by Burkinabe bandits.
We have strangers in our town. Some of them have rented some houses stay. So we need the help of the security.
We need soldier barracks as a border town, and they should equip all of them. The patrol teams, they should be up and doing. If not, our lives are in danger.
We're live at the border town, plus get an update on the promises made by government 2 years on. Gunmen shoot 2, rob 5 others of gold and cash worth thousands of cedis at Mansu Musikrom in the Ashanti region.
We heard gunshots between 2 and 3 a.m. They first attacked the gold dealer, Nana Brunya. He was robbed and asked to lead the robbers to other gold dealers at gunpoint.
We have more as public concerns of insecurity in the country heightens. In sports,
we'll hear from Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey after the launch of his foundation, which seeks to support talented and underprivileged young footballers at his hometown, Krobo Dumasi.
And later, bizarre but true, 52-year-old man loses his penis after he was allegedly touched by a beggar at a funeral in the Karachi East district of the Oti region. We'll hear from his family members who are still in shock after the incident. We have that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Please stay for details. This is your home of bold and fearless journalism. Thanks so much for your company. Details now. Aerospace expert Dr. Akbaribu Yakubu says the current presidential aircraft Falcon 900 is designed and capable of making non-stop trips to almost all of Europe. He has described as untenable government's justification for the hiring of a luxury private jet for use by President Akufo-Addo during his recent official visit to some European countries. Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwo has justified the decision, saying the safety of the president as well as the capacity of the aircraft were paramount in hiring it.
Mr. Speaker, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is one president who prefers to go by road. If the Minister of Defense considers his schedule, if we consider his schedule within the country and outside the country, this president normally would prefer to travel by road. The choice to travel by road, by air, or by sea is a national security imperative, and I have reason to release the aircraft, this particular aircraft, to other VVIPs, including ex-presidents, to carry out national duties. VVIP or presidential travel is not about aircraft type. It is not even about cost, but it's all about safety.
Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwo there. Meanwhile, NDC MP for North Tong, Okujeto Ablakwa, in whose name the question stood in Parliament, says his side was not convinced by the answers provided by the minister.
After 8 hours, you need to refuel. From Accra to France is 6.5 hours, so you could have gone to France directly without requiring refuel. From France to Belgium, you could have flown directly without refueling. The challenge will be from France to South Africa. That's 11 hours. With that, you need one stop to refuel. We have used the presidential jet with President Mahama and President Mills. And when it's time for refueling, you stay in the aircraft and it's refuel. It doesn't even take an hour. So the excuse we have been given today that because of COVID, it will take 2 hours, and the president will have to be out there and be exposed to COVID. It's not tenable. With all due respect, it's a cock and bull story. We are not buying it.
But Dr. Yakubu says the presidential jet is capable of doing the same job.
No, the current presidential jet, the Falcon 900, can make such a trip. I don't know why the president didn't use it. I don't know if it had technical issues like they had a problem in Washington before. But if not, that aircraft can make such a trip. If you look at the range of the Falcon 900, it's about 4,000 miles. So if I say the range is like 130 for the aircraft to fly without stopping to refuel. So if you want to do Accra Paris, you can do that with the Falcon 900 without stopping to refuel. So that our current presidential jet could have made such a trip.
Okay, so the argument that it will stop too many times to refuel is not one you agree with from your professional standpoint?
Yeah, sure. If to go to Europe with that aircraft, you don't have to, you make it without stopping to refuel. Because like I said, the range of the aircraft is about 4,400 miles. To go to the United States, you may have to refuel. Normally, like we use similar aircraft for air ambulance. So we use an aircraft called the Challenger. The Challenger, when it leaves here, it normally goes through Canary Island and then stops there to refuel. And then from Canary Island, it flies all the way to Halifax in Canada and then enter Teterboro in New York. So that is normally what happens with this kind of aircraft. So the Falcon 900 with Europe, it could have made that trip without stopping. But
that's an aerospace expert, Dr. Akparibu Yakubu there, speaking to my colleague Daniel Dati on the Joy News Desk. Now, the current presidential jet, the Falcon 900, replaced the Falcon 27, which was decommissioned after 35 years service. But the Falcon 900 itself entered Ghana under political controversy over cost and relevance. My colleague Elton Roby reports that the 11-year-old jet is still caught in debate.
Former President John Agyekum Kufuor in 2007, both tired and scared by his 35-year-old presidential jet, widely termed as a flying coffin, took steps to order a new one. But the large spending on presidential luxury in an otherwise poor country did not meet much understanding. The Ghanaian opposition NDC cried foul and urged President Kufuor to cancel the unnecessary order. He did not. After the NDC came to power following the 2008 elections and the late John Evans Atta Mills inaugurated his presidency in 2009, many expected him and the new parliamentary majority of the NDC to cancel the order. They did not. Instead, the order was somehow redefined. After a string of postponement, the aircraft, which became the subject of heated discourse between the MPP and the then opposition NDC in 2008, finally made its entry into Ghana on Thursday, September 30th, 2010. The current aircraft has had its own challenges. Former President John Mahama experienced its ugly side in 2014 and 2015 in the air. President Akufo-Addo had similar experience after attending the United Nations General Assembly in New York, USA. Information Minister Kojo Oponkoma explains more.
I can confirm to you that yes, there was a challenge with the presidential jet. After about 20 minutes into the flight from Washington to Accra, and the pilot informed the passengers, including the president, accordingly.
11 years down the line, the controversy over presidential jet and travels are back in the news. Member of Parliament for Northton Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is rejecting government justification for renting a luxury private jet for President Akufo-Addo.
The Dassault Falcon 900 EX is an impressive private jet with ranges of over 5,000 nautical miles. It is ideal for transoceanic and transcontinental trips. So this is a long-haul flight. So these excuses, with all due respect, cannot hold.
But Defense Minister Dominic Nitu says a much bigger aircraft is the answer to the current debate.
One of the few countries that has not been able to do that is Ghana. And I also said, look, the African Continental Free Trade, they've asked the Air Force 3 times to help them bring VIPs. We couldn't.
That's Defense Minister Dominic Nitu there ending Elton Roby's report. Well, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected in Parliament this afternoon to respond to questions on the bit about how much it cost the taxpayer for the president to embark on that trip. Minority spokesperson on Foreign Affairs Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is alleging government spent $2.8 million on hiring that private jet for the trips instead of using the presidential jet. He filed a question in that regard.
To blow 15,000 pounds sterling an hour, 2.8 million Ghana cedis, just for 23 hours. It's just an insult to the Ghanaian people. It does not make sense. You don't see the head and tail, especially from a president who promised to protect the public purse.
Let's gauge the mood in Parliament ahead of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta coming there to answer these questions. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is our parliamentary correspondent. So, Joseph, what is the specific question the minister will be responding to, and is it likely to settle the controversy? Hello, Joseph. Well, Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo will join us shortly on this. But in a related development, NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia has also described as unacceptable the justification by the Defence Minister Dominic Nitiwo over the President's decision to procure chartered flight for his foreign travels. He's been speaking on our sister station, Adom TV.
Adia, me free minister no hono. Emma me say from me say or say expect say President Ikwa Brucha on Fatronko. It's insulting Ghanaians.
But that's a fair question.
Why?
But that's a fair
What makes it fair? Trotro 5 also.
But that's
Has anybody implied said President in Trotro? We are telling you, say, sa luxury no. Or mine no yaho di intimi. Oh, can safety once them. Oh, a luxury once them. Oh, can once them. Safety now. We are not talking about safety. Is he saying, say, sa luxurious plane is safer than all other jets in the world?
Options.
Yeah, can't just say. I mean, not some no so a cock and bull story. I hope say, we will deal with it.
That's the NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia raising questions about the President's decision to procure that private jet. I'll take you back to Parliament. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us on the line. Joseph, I was asking you earlier about a specific question that Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa has asked and then the Minister of Finance will be responding to. And is it likely to settle the controversy?
So the question, to quote the question, is to ask the Minister for Finance how much the President's recent official travel to France, Belgium, and South Africa in May this year cost the Ghanaian taxpayer. And essentially the conversation in Parliament is whether this would actually elicit the response eventually, because he can go ahead and give the full figure without going into the specifics in terms of how much the flight cost and all the other things. So MP say they are expectant and they're waiting to hear what he would say.
But apart from this, though, what else are we expecting to deal with when the House resumes at 2 p.m.?
We are expecting that the second report of the appointment committee on the deputy ministerial nominees, covering about 12 deputy ministers, will also appear on the floor in order for the House to approve that 12. And then what will be left is the final batch of about 14 deputy ministers.
Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is our parliamentary correspondent, and this is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'll take you to the Ashanti region now, and 4 gold dealers have been shot and robbed of your golden money at Mansumo Sikrom in the Amansia South District. A mobile money vendor was also robbed of an unspecified amount of money. Eyewitnesses say they heard multiple gunshots on Thursday dawn as the robbers fled the scene. One of the victims, suffering from a gunshot wound, will need his leg amputated to survive. The Ashanti region, like some parts of the country, has in recent times been hit by violent crimes, sparking calls on the police to urgently deal with the situation. Inshira FM's Oforia Manfo has been following the latest incident.
The gunmen robbed 4 gold buyers and a mobile money vendor at gunpoint. A resident told Inshira FM their first victim was compelled to lead them to 3 other gold dealers. 2 of the dealers were shot in the leg. The 2 injured are receiving treatment at St. Martin's Hospital at Agroesum. We heard gunshots between 2 and 3 a.m. They first attacked the gold dealer, Nana Brunya. He was robbed and asked to lead the robbers to other gold dealers at gunpoint. They went to one Daniel and robbed him of his money and gold and then shot him. Another victim, Kwabena Ketwa, was also robbed of his money and gold and they shot him as well in the leg. A mobile money vendor was also robbed of 12,000 Ghana cedis. One gold buyer was also robbed to the tune of 20,000 cedis. Doctors at St. Martin's Hospital say Daniel's leg will have to be amputated. The case has since been reported to the Mansour Dubia police. The police have confirmed the incident and started investigating. The Mansour area is notorious for such incidents. Barely a year ago, about 8 suspected armed robbers shot and killed 3 people at Mansour Dadiase after robbing a gold dealer of 4 pounds of gold and cash. The robbers shot indiscriminately as they fled the area. Reporting for Joy News, Obidishio Foriamanfo.
And that's the situation from Manso, Musikrom in the Amansia South District of the Ashanti region. Back here in Accra, police are on a manhunt for persons who attacked a bullion van, killing a policeman and a bystander in the process. A major setback hindering investigations is access to a private CCTV installed footage at the crime scene. Interior Minister Ambrose Derry told Accra-based TV3 that this is becoming difficult.
But they raised an issue that I think I want to use this opportunity, this forum, to appeal. They say there's a person who owns a CCTV in the vicinity. The police are asking that they be given the recording of the CCTV, and there was resistance from the owner. I want to use this medium to appeal to him to cooperate and to appeal to all those persons who were in the vicinity to assist the police with whatever descriptions or whatever information that they have to enable us to track them. Yes, 191 is free. We want that information.
Interior Minister Ambrose Derry there speaking on TV3. Now, Ghanaians at the border town of Paga in the Upper East region want government to intensify security at that area following a police wireless message warning of possible attacks by Burkinabe bandits. You recall Upper East Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu assured security personnel are on high alert.
We are always on high alert because we are basically at the border areas. Upper Easterners, we are always careful and we are always on high alert just to make sure that nothing comes through our borders.
Well, residents of Paga still live in fear. They believe that their security can only be guaranteed if government sends soldiers and police to the area. Correspondent Albert Sorry traveled to the area. He joins us live from Paga with more. Albert, describe to us the proximity of Paga to Burkina Faso for those of us who do not know.
So, when you get to the border between Ghana and Burkina Faso here in Paga, you travel for less than 30 minutes from the Burkinabe side of the border, and then you get to a town called Dakola. It's less than 30 minutes from the border, and it is the first major town of Burkina Faso. So that's how close Burkina Faso is.
Well, you've been in the town for some time now. Exactly what is the talk there following this reports of possible attacks by Burkinabe bandits?
So we've been talking to some of the residents here in Paga, and one of their concerns was that they had a robbery attack here recently. The robbers were not apprehended, and so they feel that now that we are talking about bandits who could be having military weapons, it's an indication that they may not even be safe as they thought they were. So they are calling on government to send security personnel, soldiers, and more police personnel to the border area.
We have strangers in our town. Some of them are strangers from houses stay. So you can't know whether he's some of them or not. So we need the help of the security. That doesn't mean that the security are not doing their work. They are doing their work, but we need more. So the government should come into our shoes to help us, because we are near to the border. We are the first people to attack before going to the center. So we need the government help. They should give us more security.
After hearing the news and the wireless message from the police, it was so worrying. What I want to appeal from the government is we need soldier barracks as a border town, and they should equip all of them. The patrol teams, they should be up and doing. If not, our lives are in danger.
Nowadays, town is so still with the strangers. You can't identify who is who, because this is a border town. People used to come do business and go back. So what we need the government to do for us is to bring more security so that we'll be able to survive and to live for Ghana.
If you go to the villages, our mothers and fathers who do not have access to televisions and radio sets are not even aware that we are not safe now. So I think that government should at least get people aware of this issue. Maybe the information service van could go around and let people know.
Well, residents of Paga there. Albert, sorry, stay with me, because 2 years ago, you were part of correspondents that were deployed by Joy News to monitor the security situation at Ghana's land borders following that bomb explosion of a church in Burkina Faso. Let's listen to your report.
Some of Ghana's official border posts in the Upper East region are located at Paga, Kulungugu, and Pulmakum. At these borders, persons coming into the country are screened thoroughly by immigration and custom officials before they are allowed entry. However, exactly same cannot be said of few in the Bongo district. There are immigration and customs checkpoints with assigned officers in the area, but the chief believes this is not enough.
They are far away. They are just here during daytime, but in the night, you don't see them. And you know how terrorists come in? They pass through the porous roads.
Well, Albert, that's a report you filed 2 years ago. But following that report, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry told Joy News government will embark on a multinational operation involving key security agencies from Ghana, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast and Togo, aimed at preventing terrorist groups from entering Ghana and the partner countries illegally.
His Excellency the President, in view of the happenings in the neighboring countries, is working hard to make sure that we protect our borders to prevent terrorists from moving into our country.
That's the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry there in 2019. Albert, tell me what has changed.
Yes, MFA. So in June last year, the Ghana Armed Forces had an exercise which was codenamed Exercise Eagle Claws. It was in the Bazua area, and this was a 4-day program where the military, the police, and immigration and other security personnel came together, basically to train towards combating terrorist activity. One of the things we were told under that exercise was that they were also going to collaborate with the security personnel on the other side of the border as well, under a program known as Operation Conquest Fist. So this is an operation that has been going on since June of last year.
Okay, that's our correspondent in the Upper East, Albert. Sorry. Well, the Minister for Interior has been speaking, but this time not on borders, but he's been talking about measures being taken to secure justice for persons who suffered brutalities in the Tichiman South constituency during the 2020 general elections. He is in the area to visit the bereaved families as well as some victims who sustained injuries during the polls. Anas Sabit, our correspondent, is following the minister. He joins us on the line. Anas, what kind of help is the minister extending to these victims?
Come again, I didn't hear.
So I'm asking what kind of help the minister is extending to the victims during his visit.
Yes, he's here purposely. This is the first time he's visiting these victims. During the violence, he was a candidate then. So according to him, then the IGP was in charge of the security of the country. So once he has been reappointed or nominated as the minister, now he has to come visit the victims, hear from them, and then tell them or assure them that he is committed to ensuring that justice is served.
Bereaved families to extend our condolences, to commiserate with them, and to assure them that the investigation into the incident is ongoing and briefed from time to time of the progress. And at the end of the investigation, whoever is found culpable will face the full rigors of the law.
Interior Minister Ambrose Derry there. It's a good time for a quick breather here on the Midday News. But first, our top stories. Aviation experts insist current presidential aircraft is capable of making non-stop trips across Europe and describes as untenable government's justification for the hiring of a luxury jet for President Akufo-Addo's recent tour of 4 European countries. And we'll be watching Parliament for the appearance of the Finance Minister to answer questions on how much exactly it cost the taxpayer for that trip. When we return, we have sports. And then also, bizarre but true, 52-year-old man loses his penis after he was allegedly touched by a beggar at a funeral in the Karachi East District of the Oti region. We'll hear from his family members who are still in shock after that incident.
Do you know that when you dial star 700 hash on Vodafone, you are accessing a world of endless opportunities, from getting a job in another country while right here in Ghana to playing esports in real time, from attending world-class institutions from your bedroom to seeing specialist doctors without leaving home, and so much more. So get the best value data offers in Ghana on Vodafone. Get 1.23 gigabyte data, no expiry data for only 5 Ghana cedis, 3.4 gigabyte data for only 10 cedis, and 9 gigabyte data for only 20 Ghana cedis. Dial star 700 hash now.
Vodafone. Together we can.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ikuya Anderson. I'm from the Ghana Statistical Service. I'm a census official, and I'm here to count you and your household members for the 2021 population and housing census.
Hey, you people, you come to count us all the time, but we get nothing out of this. Do I even have time?
Daddy, please check your ID card and letter in. It must be counted. It's very important.
You see, the data they collect is for various purposes. To know the total number of people in the country, the characteristics, housing conditions and stuff, to inform policy. The status in school.
The 2021 population and housing census will leave no one behind. The census night is 27th June. Counting of all persons who spend the census night in Ghana will be conducted from that night to 11th July. Before then, all structures will be assigned unique numbers and basic information collected on them and their occupants from 13th to 25th June. The 2021 population and housing census. You count, get counted.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports with the birthday man, Hans Mensando.
You have to mention that.
Yes. We're waiting for the lunch. It's coming, right?
Definitely.
Okay, let's finish.
Definitely. Let's deal with the sports. And Thomas Partey has been giving back. The Arsenal midfielder has launched the foundation in his hometown, Krobo Dumas, with the aim of giving talented but underprivileged young footballers the opportunity to make it to the highest level. Let's take a listen to the Black Stars midfielder.
Knowing where you come from, how hard it is, to get to where I am, without help is very difficult. So this foundation is, made to, make all the young ones with talent to be able, to reach where they want to reach. Give them the opportunity that they deserve, the opportunity that most of us did not get, some of my friends did not get when we were young, so that they will be able, to be someone or more than me, as the future.
Thomas third party, they're giving back, setting up a foundation at his hometown, Krobo Odumase, MFR.
That's good. So we're looking forward to the Euros tonight,
Definitely,
right?
Later tonight, there's live commentary.
Have a happy birthday, darling.
Thank you
now,
very
at
much.
the time the country's COVID-19 cases peaked in Ghana, Joy News brought you a number of stories about persons who had succumbed to the virus or put up a spirited fight against all odds. Most of these stories were about adults. Today, we'll tell you the story of a 12-year-old, Georgina Lamte. She's been left with severe complications and is still on admission at the Adar Government Hospital after being infected more than a year ago. Bernice Abubedu Lanza has more.
The COVID-19 virus sneaked into Georgina's system and almost robbed her of everything, her speech and the use of her legs. Her mother tells us about the complaint that has turned out to be the family's worst nightmare.
My daughter complained of pain in her leg when she returned from school. From there, she couldn't walk again. So I brought her here to the Adar Hospital and we were transferred to Kolebu. We found out there that she had been infected with the virus.
I meet Dr. Owusu Setra, head of the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit at Kolebu. He takes me to the ward where Georgina stayed.
And when the test result of COVID came in, we had to send her to UGMC. So it was at UGMC, recovered. We were able to pull the tube out. She was able to breathe. They referred the child back to us with physiotherapy and the child was able to go home. Then the child worsened and then came back. When we put her back on the machine, every time we attempted to remove the machine, the child arrested on us. By arrest, if we don't put the child back on the machine, the child was going to die. The child spent about 120 days on the ventilator.
Georgina now has a tracheostomy tube inserted in her neck to help her breathe. While her family waits for a miracle, health officials are racing against time to stay on schedule with vaccinations. Everyone is at risk. Doctors advise that you stick to the protocols.
You ought to wear your mask. And now, 52-year-old man Isifu Iyelewa has lost his penis after he was allegedly touched by a suspected beggar at a funeral he attended. According to brother of the victim, this unknown man came complaining of hunger. While serving him food, the beggar stretched out and touched his senior brother. It was only after the beggar had left that his brother detected that his manhood had mysteriously vanished. He's been speaking to Adum FM's Obrimpongba Owusu.
When he took off his shorts and checked, his manhood had disappeared. We did our best. We held it many times, but it didn't come back. So we took the matter to the police. The accused has denied any wrongdoing.
Well, the matter has since been reported to the Dambai police. Bizarre but true. And that's it for the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM Stories, making headlines on myjoyonline.com that you've also been reading. Onion sellers at Agbublushi have asked a spiritualist to kill me, but I will still relocate them. That's according to Henry Quarte. Also, Akufo-Addo can't shower on presidential jet, comments needless Okuje to Ablakwa. And Akufo-Addo avoided presidential jet due to security, not because he couldn't shower. Dominic Nitiwo. That and more. myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otabil. We continue with the Wisdom Series, episode 19. I am MFR Paul. Thanks so much for your company. Have a good afternoon.
I won again! I won! Oh! I won again! Oh! This MTN spin the wheel. It is simple.